Welcome back, everybody, to my last brain cell. I can once again say this very confidently. Happy Friday, Junior, y'all. You feel me? As it so happens, I'm also recording this on a Friday, Junior. So it really just helps out. How y'all doing, man? How y'all doing? As of this recording, we're getting through like the first semi-full week of September. But when you guys are seeing this, you're gonna be damn near done with your first full 7 days of September, like in a week in succession. So congratulations. This month definitely feels like it's flying a little faster than I thought it would. I mean, it's already the 4th. We just celebrated at least as of this recording, right? I guess the 4th. So y'all know now like when I would have recorded this compared to when it came out. So it's the 4th. We just celebrated Labor Day. You feel me? The weekend's right here upon us, and yeah, man, some great things happening. I hope September has been good to y'all. And if you have kids, I hope the back to school transition has been smooth. It's been really nice seeing the back to school pics for the first day of school. Only thing I don't understand to this day is why do we start school right before the weekend? Like these kids went back to school today. Tomorrow's Friday. Then it's the weekend. Like I understand that we couldn't start school on Monday. That's Labor Day. I even understand not starting school the day after Labor Day. But that Wednesday, like we couldn't give them a solid 3 days of school. I don't know. I'm sure as a kid I really appreciated, but like as an adult, I just don't understand. And right now, back to school doesn't affect me in the slightest. Like my previous job, back to school is a really big deal because I work in the grocery store. So we had to prepare, for kids going back to college. We had to, get accustomed to not being able to schedule teenagers, like the minors who can work over like 20, 30 hours. You feel me? So a lot of adjustments came with that. But right now, my job is just day to day, rolling. And the one thing I think I appreciate the most about my job is that it stops on Friday. Or I should say it pauses on Friday. And after Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, nothing is happening. And then it starts again on Monday. And I really appreciate that about my job. Because again, at a grocery store, that's a 7-day operation. That's a 24-hour 7-day operation. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't stop. And just because in the position I was in, I was a manager. So just because I'm off doesn't really mean much. Like if something happened or something like needed my attention, I'm getting called in for it. 100%. It's gonna be on me. So, but anyway, that's enough yapping. I don't think I have any real updates for y'all. So we're gonna go ahead and get into the question of the day. And today's question of the day is inspired by the idea that The Conjuring: The Last Rites is coming out, I think this weekend. And I'm really looking forward to watching it. I love scary movies in the Conjuring series, like not just, like the Conjuring film, but like the whole universe. I really enjoy. It's one of my favorite horror films besides like the Insidious movies, or at least the first one. I can't speak for all the Insidious films, but like that first movie was really good to me. But anyway, today's question of the day. When you know a sequel to a film is coming out, do you watch like all the previous movies, or do you just go in with the knowledge that you already have retained, or do you look up some stuff? Like do you try to what's the word I'm looking for? Remind yourself of previous events before going to see another movie. And I'm sure for a lot of movies, it's not even necessary to have an idea of previous events. Like I even think about like the Marvel films, right? Like going from, and I'll use Iron Man because he's my favorite hero as an example. Going from Iron Man 1 to Iron Man 2, you you don't need to know or remember much, right? Like you don't need to retain much information going from 1 to 2. Hell, going from 2 to 3, you also don't really need to retain much information. So like there's not a need to go back to watch those. Same with Cap 1 and 2, same with Thor 1 and 2. Like there's no reason to go back to the previous films to like get information that might be relevant to the next film. But if like I don't remember for the Conjuring films if like 1, 2, or like all the other ones, like I know some of them connected, just like plug in points in the timeline for the universe, but I don't think I needed to watch one again to enjoy two. I didn't need to watch, Annabelle Creations to enjoy Conjuring. You know what I mean? Like, it's nice to get those films, but I don't need to watch those prior to watching the film. So anyway, again, question of the day. Do you or are you the type of person who, when a sequel comes out, do you watch the previous films, right? And again, this is inspired by Conjuring. Now, I just watched a video on YouTube about a bunch of like the scariest parts of the Conjuring universe. It made me think like, damn, should I go revisit these films? Like, they did have some pretty solid scares, but at the same time, there's really no need for me to revisit those films. Truly, there's no need for me to revisit the films. So yeah, but let me know in the comments if you are the type of person who revisits films, either for fun or just to, like, remind yourself of past things that have happened in the universe. Put it in the comments, and while you do that, I'll get Cards Against Humanity. I'm looking at my chair here, and I'm thinking to myself, I think it's almost time to get a new chair. This is like my gaming and my office chair, so I use it a lot. I game in it, I record in it, I work in it. So this chair, it gets a lot of wear, and especially in the last 2 years where I've started this new job, and in the last year where I've started this, or year plus, year and a half almost since I started this, it gets a lot of use. It gets a lot of use. So I definitely think it's time for me to get a new chair, but just a random thought. Anyway, hey guys, I know this was my idea, but I'm having serious doubts about blank. Hey guys, I know this was my idea, but I'm having serious doubts about blank. This is interesting. This sounds like a beginning to a great Scooby-Doo like origin story, like a fan made one. I don't even know if Scooby-Doo, like the gang, has an origin story. Are they comic book characters? Does anybody know the answer to that? I don't really know where Scooby-Doo and them came from. Putting that there, struggling with my hands. One of the answers was shown to me, so I'm going to read that one first. Hey guys, I know this is my idea, but I'm having serious doubts about preteens. Who doesn't? Hey guys, I know this is my idea, but I'm having serious doubts about boogers. Again, who doesn't? Hey guys, I know this is my idea, but I'm having serious doubts about the American dream. We're 3 for 3. Who doesn't? All right. So, all right. Hey guys, I know this is my idea, but I'm having serious doubts about preteens. Unless you are also a preteen, there should not have even been an idea about preteens in your head. Eliminated. Hey guys, I know this was my idea, but I'm having serious doubts about boogers. So let's talk about it. You and your friends, you're chilling. You're probably even drunk. Because your rational thought might not have kicked in while this was happening if you're drunk. So whatever. You might be altered. You might not be. Who knows, right? But anyway, you guys are talking about whatever, and you talk about when you were kids how you used to dig in your nose, and your one friend says he never ate his boogers, your other friend says he always ate his boogers, and you say, nah, I never ate my boogers, and your one friend is like, man, it wasn't that bad when I was a kid, and you say, you know what, let's all try it right here right now. So all you dig in your nose and you pull out the nastiest booger you've ever seen, and then you say this, hey guys, I know this is my idea, but I'm having serious doubts about boogers. However, the American dream doesn't exist. We all know that. We're basically a third world country at this point. Have you seen the state of this country? It's deplorable. So, for that matter, hey guys, I know this is my idea, but I'm having serious doubts about the American dream. Like, could you imagine, like, being an immigrant who wants to come over here and you're like, yeah, America, the American dream, the American dream. Like, that's all we talk about. Like, that shit ain't real. It's farcical. So that's my answer. Hey guys, I know this is my idea, but I'm having serious doubts about the American dream. Let me know what you would have put. Put that joint in the comments. Would it have been preteens? And again, unless you yourself are a preteen, there should be no ideas about preteens in your head. Would it have been boogers? Or would it have been the American dream? Put it in the comments, and while you do that, I'll get the wheel of fun. Almighty wheel, what do you have for us today? We just did that yesterday. So we will, not yesterday, but you know what I mean. We will spin again. Fun fact. You know what? Here's a really good fun fact, real quick. And I'm just realizing I did this now. So, because I used to record like when episodes would drop, it was always very easy for me to do the on this day. I'm realizing right now in this moment that because I'm so accustomed to that, when I did the on this day for the previous episode, I did it for the day I was recording, not the day that it would have come out. And I say that to say, I just realized that I'm really glad I spun, because although I'm not recording on the day, this episode is coming out on 9/11. And I don't think we need an on this day for that. Well, let me break out the handy dandy notebook for this fun fact, shall I? Okay. And the handy dandy notebook says, today's fun fact, Africa is the only continent in all 4 hemispheres. Motherland, baby, what can I say? Of course it's going to be of course it's going to be the only continent to be something. Because black people, bro, we just radiate greatness. Like, what can I say? Not much else to say. And with that said, I'm going to get on out of here and let y'all go. Thank you for tuning in and stopping by as always. This is King Echo. Wait. They don't love you. No, sorry. Make sure that you like, comment, subscribe. You feel me? Do all those things. Make sure you telling your friends. Hey, yo, this guy, he got some stuff going on. We got sip, read, repeat. Where I forgot I can curse. I don't know why I stopped myself. Where shit is getting spicy. Ooh! You know what? We're gonna have a quick yap about that. Actually, like I got sip, read, repeat, and we got clandestine cuisines. And yes, I know I owe you guys an episode for this month, so don't worry. One is coming, all right? I'm a man of my word. I'm a man of my word. But anyway, let's talk about Gone Girl. And specifically, the idea of being set up by your wife for her murder / disappearance. Holy shit. I remember that happened in Gone Girl. Like, that was the whole premise, right? Like, I remember that happening. But rereading the book after all these years, I genuinely, and I still do, but I genuinely was like, Nick might have done this shit. Like, there's too much evidence showing otherwise. There's no way. And he was cheating on her. Like, bro, you're just setting the stage for your guilt. That's all you're doing. And then we get to part 2 of the book, because it's split in 2 parts: boy meets girl and girl meets boy. Right. So the first part was a beautifully woven structure between Amy diary entries about like how her and Nick met and things going on in their life, and then like things happening to Nick in the present day. And all of Amy's diary entries are based in the past. And then when you get up to present day and you learn that Amy set him up, was like running up credit cards in his name, buying a whole bunch of outlandish, expensive shit. She been knew he was cheating on her. Like, she purposely cut, like, all that shit was bananas. Gone Girl. Gillian Flynn herself is just a phenomenal author. Like, I've read Gone Girl and I've read Sharp Objects. And I want to say I've had this discourse before with this camera, but I could be wrong. And even if I am wrong, who cares? It's my show. So I've read Gone Girl and I definitely had this discourse. I remember talking about my homie who bought me the 3rd book. So I've read Gone Girl and I've read Sharp Objects. And I'm now reading Dark Places, which so far definitely seems like the darker of the 3. However, I learned, and I don't know if it's going to say it in here, I learned recently that Gillian wrote 4 books, not 3. So I always thought it was just Gone Girl, Dark Places, and Sharp Objects. And I wasn't avoiding Dark Places. I just never got around to it, right? And I knew when I was starting Sip Read Repeat that I wanted to read Gone Girl. And I had Gone Girl at one point in life. I don't know what happened to it. So I ended up rebuying it. And I have Sharp Objects here, but I felt like for the purpose of Sip Read Repeats premiere, I thought Gone Girl would hit a little bit better. But anyway, Gillian Flynn has wrote 4 books. So Gone Girl, she wrote Dark Places and Sharp Objects, and then she wrote something called The Grown Up. So I have to find that book, but I'm only going to find it after I read Dark Places, right? And honestly, I'm probably going to I'm at a point now in my head where I'm like, do I just reread all of her stuff? Who knows? Maybe I will. She's a phenomenal author. Like, she's phenomenal. These books are great. So like, I've enjoyed reading Gone Girl for the camera, and I've also enjoyed reading Dark Places off camera. Like, they're great. And I've noticed that she does women-led protagonists for her stories. So I'm curious to know if The Grown Up follows the same path. I don't know anything about the book, and I refuse to look up anything about the book, so that when time comes, I'll be surprised. Like, I didn't look up anything about Dark Places. I know nothing about this book except for like what's shown on the back of it. But what do they call that? I think there's a specific word for the excerpt. I could be wrong. Whatever. There's a specific word for like the little blurb on the back of the book. The little it's not biography. My brain. That's this last brain cell. I need to rev it up just a little bit more. There's a word I'm looking for. But anyway, I can't find it. My brain literally, I heard the engine rev, and then it went in my head. So whatever. But yeah, anyway, that little blurb on the back. There's a word, man. It's pissing me off. Yeah, but anyway, whatever this is called, the description on the back of the book, this is all I've read about Dark Places. So I'll be just surprised like everyone else was upon their first read. But anyway, y'all, that's enough out of me. I tried to let you go about 8 minutes ago, and this time I actually will. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe. I'm still very much on the hunt for Mission 1K. Shout out to everybody brand new who has followed. Shout out to everybody who watches my videos. I love y'all. Until next time, this is King Echo, signing off.